Sometimes life becomes so heavy that even getting out of bed feels like a battle. You smile in front of people, but deep inside there is a silence that nobody can hear. One day a young man arrived at Osho's ashram carrying that very silence. His eyes were tired, his heart was exhausted, and his soul felt broken. He sat in front of Osho and said with trembling words, "Master, I am tired. I am tired of people. I am tired of expectations. I am tired of fighting every single day. No matter how hard I try, life keeps pushing me down. I don't want to continue like this anymore." Osho looked at him quietly. For a few moments he said nothing. Then he smiled gently and said, "Come with me." They walked through the ashram garden until they reached a large old tree. The ground beneath it was covered with dry leaves. Osho picked up one of the leaves and placed it in the young man's hand. Then he asked, "Why is this leaf dry?" The young man replied, "Because it has fallen from the tree. And when it was attached to the tree, it was green, alive." Osho nodded. "Exactly." Then he looked into the young man's eyes and said, "You are becoming like this leaf." The young man was surprised. Osho continued, "You have disconnected yourself from your own source. You attach your happiness to people. You attach your peace to circumstances. You attach your worth to the opinions of others. And when those things changed, you started believing that you were losing yourself." The young man's eyes filled with tears. For the first time, someone had described exactly what he was feeling. He whispered, "But what should I do? I have tried everything. I have worked hard. I have stayed strong. And yet, I keep failing." Osho led him toward a nearby river. The river flowed peacefully. Large rocks stood in its path, yet the water never stopped moving. Osho asked, "Have you ever seen a river complain?" "No," the young man replied. "The river does not fight every rock. It does not waste its energy trying to remove every obstacle. It simply finds another way and keeps flowing." Then Osho said, "Your problems are like those rocks. The more you fight them, the more exhausted you become. But when you learn to accept them, you discover the strength to move forward." Tears rolled down the young man's face. He lowered his head and said, "Master, I don't even have the desire to live anymore. I wake up every day, but I don't feel alive." A deep silence filled the air. Then Osho gently held the young man's hand, and in a calm voice he said, "The problem is not that you don't want to live. The problem is that you have postponed living. You keep telling yourself, 'I'll be happy when I become successful. I'll be peaceful when I earn more money. I'll feel complete when the right people enter my life.' But that day never comes, because happiness is not a destination. It is a way of traveling." Night had begun to fall. Darkness slowly covered the sky. Osho lit a small lamp and handed it to the young man. Then he asked, "How far can this light reach?" The young man looked at the lamp. "Only a few steps ahead." Osho smiled. "And yet this small light can guide you through the entire night." The young man looked confused. "How?" Osho replied, "Because it does not need to show the whole journey. It only needs to show the next step." Then Osho spoke words that the young man would remember forever. "You are carrying the weight of your entire future on your shoulders. You are worrying about 10 years from now while standing in today. You want answers for every problem immediately. And that is why you are exhausted. You do not need to solve your entire life tonight. You only need to take the next step, then another, and another. That is how life changes." The young man's eyes slowly began to shine again. For the first time in a long while, he felt hope. As he prepared to leave, Osho gave him one final message. "Remember this. Even the darkest night cannot stop the sun from rising. Your exhaustion is not the end of your story. It is only a sign that you need to return to yourself." That night, the young man's problems did not disappear. His struggles were still there. His challenges were still waiting for him. But something had changed, his perspective. And when your perspective changes, your life begins to change with it. So if you are feeling tired today, if you feel lost, if you feel like giving up, remember the lesson of the lamp. You do not need to see the whole path. You only need enough light for the next step. Because sometimes, one small step is all it takes to change an entire life.